All right. We're live. Over to you, Scotty Toombs.
Are, are we? Are we? Are we sure? Oh my gosh, we are! Wow, live on Twitch, live on IG. It is. Sorry, I'm going back and forth between two things here. Episode 2 of the new and improved VHS show right here on Instagram Live, twitch.tv, the Analog Basement channel. We're on the After Movie Diner Facebook page
We
live as
are.
well. We're all over your social media outlets. Scotty Toombs of the Analog Basement, Jon Cross, Be Kind Movie Vault, the After Movie Diner, the PM Entertainment Podcast. We are back. We are happy to be here. We were just discussing how we have our hands in too many things, but it's all exciting things, all good things that we love to share with you, the fine folks watching at home, if there are any. Johnny boy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, my friend. I'm
That boy.
doing good. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to be back on the VHS show.
Oh yeah.
I'm liking this every other week thing. I feel like it gives me some time to watch some movies. It
Sure.
gives me time to refill and restart the engine.
There
You know what I mean? With some nostalgic juices.
Nice.
Nice. So yeah, no, I'm doing great, my friend. How about yourself?
Yep. Same. And I'm right there with you because I got to watch some stuff. I got to watch a decent amount of stuff this past 2 weeks. I'm gonna crack open my beverage. I see you have yours going already. So
mine is simply a lemon and lime seltzer.
Oh, nice. I like to
nothing,
indulge.
Nothing alcoholic for me tonight.
Yes, yeah, I like to indulge in a little bit of alcohol when I'm talking about the slabs, my friend. So
sure. And I see that we have your good lady Z Junebug over on the Twitch wave.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right, cool. What's up, C June? How you doing? That means that the two youngsters are fast asleep.
Yes.
Which is very, very nice.
The Toomey Bambinos are snoring away somewhere.
They are. Yeah. Oh man, I got allergies too, dude. I know we were just talking about that, but I'm like, today it's just my nose is really itchy, so and that's annoying. That could also be a detriment or an effect of the mustache, also.
No, I think the mustache helps to filter some of the allergens. I feel like if I was sans mustache, I would be more streaming and itchy and so on.
That makes sense.
We have Uncivil Alpha has just joined on Twitches and says, I have no memory of this place. # Gandalf.
Oh, I like it. So, for those who have never watched the VHS show, which could very well be quite a few of you, Johnny and I like to discuss some of the things that we've watched over the last 2 weeks that could be maybe we watched it on streaming, maybe we watched it on VH, or maybe we watched it on Blu-ray or 4K. We'll discuss maybe a few things that we picked up over the last couple weeks, if we did in fact pick anything up. And then, of course, we'll end the program with our VHS pick of the week. John, talk to me, man. What have you been watching lately?
Well, I know people like, I can often talk about all sorts of things because I own a weird array on VHS, from the very popular to the very rare and the very weird. I don't know about you, sir, but I'm a big fan of, and I think it's kind of like a bit of a subgenre, but it's women-led kind of New York, late 80s, early 90s New York kind of weirdo romps. I don't know whether that's a subgenre. The most famous, I don't know whether it's the most famous, but the one that I like the most is Times Square.
Okay.
With I believe her name is Robin Johnson, and she only did like 3 films. Splits, which is another favorite of mine, being another one that she did.
That's right, horizontal VHS art.
And she is an incredible actor, and I wish she had done a ton more. She's also a great singer, and there's like a punk band element and everything. Anyway, cool. I picked up on VHS a while ago a very similar movie, but with sort of a comedy, crime, girls just want to have fun kind of underpinning to it. And it
Yeah.
is a movie called Sticky Fingers,
Whoa.
starring Helen. Oh, hang on, that's upside down. Sorry, Sticky
I was
Fingers.
gonna say what?
Sorry, the image is very small on my screen. Sticky Fingers, starring Helen Slater and Melanie Mayron. I don't know who Melanie Mayron is, apart from the fact that she's in this movie. But Helen Slater, of course, we all know, not only as Supergirl, of course,
Yep.
but she's in. Oh my goodness, I'm going to forget the name of it. But the fantastic movie with Christian Slater, where she goes on the run and becomes
Legend of Billie Jean.
Yes, Billie Jean. That's it. And I love Helen Slater. She's fantastic. So when this came into my being, because I had got a big box for the store, and this one was one where I'm like, oh, I'm holding that one back to watch for myself. It is exactly what I wanted it to be. It's a romp in New York City at the, I think, end of the 80s or maybe very early 90s. They are two girls in typical kind of Times Square, girls just want to have fun kind of fashion, living in a very kind of grungy apartment. They're trying to get off the ground with their music. They have like a weird music double act that's sort of very esoteric and surreal, and no one's really going for it. So instead, so they run out of money. They don't know what they do. Bills are piling up. Someone's coming for the rent. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then of course they find a huge bag of drug money from their friend who's a dealer, and you know, they pay the rent off and everything. But after that, they just decide to blow through it at Neiman Marcus and various other stores and things, and they fill their apartment with all this fancy stuff. And then, of course, their friend comes back from South America or wherever she's been doing the various dealings and wheelings, and obviously wants her money. And of course, they don't have it. So shenanigans ensue. And it was a fun romp. Carol Kane is in it, of course, because it's in New York in the 80s. So Carol Kane has to show up. We love Carol Kane. And it's just a sort of mostly all female, 95% all female romp in New York. It's got all the kind of punk and pop and 80s touchstones and city touchstones that you want from such a movie. I'm not going to necessarily put it up as high as Times Square, which I still think is fantastic, or necessarily some of the other movies within the genre. But I think it's definitely worth tracking down. It's probably streaming somewhere. If you haven't seen it, definitely worth putting in maybe once or twice. This is probably a once every kind of 5 or 6 years watch for me. It's not an every year watch, but I love it. I unabashedly love women-led movies, and especially when women are just being kind of weird and kooky and mad in the city and all that kind of stuff. And I think Helen Slater, you know, I don't know exactly, I don't know a ton about her, but whether Supergirl kind of, I don't know, killed what was a promising career or something, but I don't know. I would have liked to have seen Helen Slater kind of have the career that like Sarah Jessica Parker ended up having, because I actually think Helen Slater's more engaging, compelling, and than Sarah Jessica. So anyway, Sticky Fingers, it's a thumbs up for me, but it's not, I wouldn't go in expecting, you know, top 5 material, but it's top 15. It's very solid.
A good watch.
A good watch, my friend. Yes.
And I agree with you on Helen Slater too. If you ask me to name more than 2 movies that she's in, I can't do it. Well, now I could do 3.
3, right.
Before I would have only been able to do 2.
Well, I love Billie Jean. I mean, that's one that Kim introduced me to, and I think I watch that at least every couple of years, because you know, just both her and Christian Slater, both very compelling, fun, young, you know, screen presences, and I love a good romp. I love a good like running around the country being mad kind of movie. So yeah.
Excellent. All right, I'll jump into one of my movies that I watched during our little, you know, between the last episode and now.
Sure.
One of my favorite martial arts films when I was a kid.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I really just like it never came out on DVD as far as I know. Just got a Blu-ray release. Kino Lorber put it out either last year or the year before. I haven't seen any other movies with this gentleman. I need to, but that is the classic Kenpo karate extravaganza, The Perfect Weapon, with my guy Jeff Speakman, maniac with the kendo sticks.
Yes.
If you have not seen this movie and you're a martial arts fan, or if you're just an action film fan, you got to check it out. I've Got the Power by Snap is very prevalent on the soundtrack of this movie.
He's doing all his moves.
Oh yeah, dude. And then he beats the couch. He beats the shit out of a couch at the end of it.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I mean, any movie where the lead character beats the shit out of a couch with kendo sticks, I'm there. Sign me up.
Definitely.
A lot of familiar faces too. I almost said Odd Job, but that's not Odd Job. It's a different guy that kind of looks like him.
It's not Gerald Sakata, but I always think that it is Gerald Sakata, and it's not. It's another gentleman who looks surprisingly like him.
He would have made a good Odd Job if they made Goldfinger like 20 years later. So you got Speakman, you got Mako, who you maybe know from Let's do a deep dive. Well, I think that's not really a deep dive, but Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, I know him the most from those films. And then of course, what's the name of the actor that plays the main villain? Lopan.
Oh, James Hong.
Yes, James Hong's in it, and Mariska Hargitay is in it too. You might know her from Law and Order. So just a little tiny bit part.
Law and Order, or the infamous movie Jocks, which she's also in. Mariska Hargitay.
There you go. So that movie is awesome. I love it, and it's one of my favorites, and I'm happy to have it on the VH and also the Blue Riz. And can't say enough good things about it.
Well, it's funny you bring it up, because
I wanted to take Kenpo Karate after I watched it.
I have an entire Speakman collection on VHS.
I know you would. I knew you would.
So, I have your Street Night, and I have your Scorpion 1, and I have your Mission to Atlantis.
I mean,
I have some really
names for those.
Yeah. I have some mad ones. He, of course, did. You bring up Speakman. I'm the host and the creator of the PM Entertainment podcast.
Yes,
Go
sir.
follow us on Facebook and Instagram and download that show. If you're a VHS fan, my God, PM Entertainment, that's where it's at, baby, for exploding cars and throwing people through walls of fire and karate and Kenpo and all sorts of stuff. And of course, Jeff Speakman stars in quite a few PM Entertainment movies. We're talking Land of the Free versus none other than William Shatner as the big bad guy in that movie. Running Red, where him and Angie Everhart have to go.
What is it called?
It's called Running Red.
Running Red.
And I think they're in the witness protection program or whatever.
Wow.
Anyway, he has to do a lot of Kenpo in that movie.
Yep.
And I think he's in Hot Boys. There was a couple of movies that PM Entertainment made with the rapper Master P, and Snoop Dogg shows up in it, and you've got
that early 2000s.
Almost, yeah. I think it is exactly 2000, and the supporting cast is, because PM Entertainment were like, sure, you can put all your rapper friends in it who can't act, but we're going to stack it with some PM Entertainment golden oldies, and they have a cameo from Jeff Speakman, Gary Busey, and C. Thomas Howell. So that's a Hot Boys
of great actors.
Oh, and Matt Pereira is watching on the Twitches as well, and he says, "Ha ha ha, Hot Boys." Yes, indeed.
Ha ha ha.
Listen, if we're talking Speakman and PM Entertainment, I got to bring up my Hot Boys, dude.
Heck yeah. We got hellos from C Pac-Man on the IG Live, and Cal L222, some old friends from the old Retro Futurism 101 program. Thanks for watching, friends. What do you got? Do you have anything that you wait a minute? Do you have anything else that you watched the last?
Yes. So I have one other thing that I watched.
Cool. Me too.
And this one is equally a little oddity. Again, I like picking out some movies that people are like, wait, what is that? So Sticky Fingers, Helen Slater. That's our in with this
Yep.
one. Well, this one is a Judge Reinhold, Willem Dafoe movie. That I think it's meant to be set in the 50s or early 60s. I think it is. Because they all drive like late 50s period cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's set in a Dust Bowl town in Arizona. And Willem Dafoe is like a rock and roll drifter who had like a couple of hit singles and then has like taken to the road kind of thing. And Judge Reinhold is sort of a button down square who's decided to go into business with his father running a pork barbecue joint. And he is traveling towns around the South to see where which towns would be potential places to set up a pork barbecue joint.
Yeah.
He is on the road, and before he even picks up Willem Dafoe, some local hoodlums, some local rapscallions in an equally late 50s, early 60s style car, rock up, shoot out his gas tank, or no, his radiator. Sorry, shoots out his radiator, runs him off the road. They're all whooping and hollering, and it's like Biff Tannen and his thugs, but with actual threats and weaponry, I guess. And anyway, Willem Dafoe kind of helps fix up the car, and he rides him into town and says, "We need to find an auto shop." And anyway, hijinks ensues, and the button-down Judge Reinhold and the trying to leave his past behind Willem Dafoe decide, because of a couple of ladies that they meet in town, decide, we're not having these thugs pushing this town around anymore. We're going to put an end to it.
Oh, yeah.
And the movie I'm talking about, if you don't recognize that plot synopsis, is none other than the original Roadhouse, retitled Roadhouse 66.
Wow. Okay.
When the Roadhouse that we know and love came out. So it's called Roadhouse 66 now. So if you're looking for it, look for Roadhouse 66. But originally, when the original, this was like obviously the theatrical poster that they put on the cassette tape. When it first came out, it was just called Roadhouse.
Jeez.
And it is, it's a the reason why I said I think it's set in the 50s is because while there's a lot of 50s aesthetic, because it was made in the 80s and because it clearly wasn't made like with a ton of money, I'm not going to say that everything is period correct. That's what I like. If it's meant to be set in the 50s and 60s, there are definitely some times where I'm like, well, she's dressed like like someone from the 80s, and the auto shop is dressed like someone from the 80s. But it's surprising because obviously the Roadhouse we all know and love with Patrick Swayze, Ben Gazzara in that movie plays obviously more of kind of like a corporate threat, a moneyed threat, but still has like hoodlums and thugs that go around beating up the town. In this one, the town isn't necessarily a town worth saving, other than there are good people there. It's a Dust Bowl tiny town. It's not like the town in Roadhouse. But this is a Dust Bowl tiny town. It's only worth saving because they fall in love with the two ladies, one of whom runs the auto shop. And so it's more interesting because it's less to do about the fights and stuff. And then, of course, there's the obligatory car race at the end where whoever wins the race is going to kind of run the thugs out of town kind of thing. And so it's more about one guy who never put himself out there, Judge Reinhold, and another guy who put himself out there and is now running from it, Willem Dafoe, who have to now figure out how, like, Willem Dafoe needs to figure out how he comes back and confronts his life, and Judge Reinhold needs to figure out actually what his life's going to be, because the last thing it really is going to be is him working for his dad trying to set up some pork barbecue joints. So and then at the same time the women have like a redemption story they have to get through. So it's, while there is action in it, while there is some explosions and things and some shenanigans, it's really a more of a character piece about redemption and following your path and taking your life by the horns, not someone else's.
Yes, sir. Roadhouse 66.
Roadhouse 66 with the Defoe and the Reinhold.
And the Reinhold.
Oh, naughty kissing there. Look that right there. We've got some naughty smooches on the back there. always good when there's naughty smooching in a movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All right, so you go ahead.
So the other thing that I watched was something from my Blue Rizzle collection. It is a Richard Linklater film.
Okay.
I'll tell you, when it first came out, I did not see it in theaters, but I did, as soon as it was available online, made a point to watch it. It was described, I think, by Linklater himself as a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, which is one of my all-time favorite films. And the first time I watched it, I will be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed. But recently, I have gained a new perspective and a new enjoyment from this particular film. It takes place in 1980, and it is a little slice of life following a group of gentlemen who are playing for their college baseball team. And it is the, now in my opinion, Richard Linklater classic, Everybody Wants Some. If you have not seen this movie, it is in great Linklater fashion, is a who's who of young actors from that period. Tyler Hoechlin, who his first role was actually in Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks, and then he went on to play Superman in the Superman and Lois TV show. But he is in this film. It also has Wyatt Russell. Kurt Russell's kid is in it. He's now a big star. It has one of John's favorite actors, Glenn Powell, is in this movie. He plays Glenn Powell.
Please stop trying to make Powell a thing.
He plays Glenn Powell in this movie, and
of course great. He does. He plays Glenn Powell in everything. The
fast-talking, wisecracking, smooth Glenn Powell. And then,
of course, dude, the trouble is, of course, is that I hate, I'm hating on Glenn Powell. Screw Glenn Powell. Stop trying to make Glenn Powell a thing. He's so boring. And then a clip went viral this week or in the last couple of weeks of Glenn Powell at some award show being exceptionally cool by thanking Cheech Marin and Danny Trejo because when he was in what movie was Spy Kids?
Yeah.
They invited him over to their table and he was like, I can't believe I got to sit at the cool kids table. Now that slightly endears me to Glenn Powell because anyone who remembers where they come from, I have big props for that. Sure. Robert Patrick recently did the same thing when our martial artist stunt guy, Richard Norton, passed away. He posted a video of hanging out with Richard Norton down in Australia and talking about his first movie, Equalizer 2000, that Norton was the star of, and Robert Patrick had a small part in. And that endeared me to Patrick. And I was like, oh, Patrick remembers where he came from and he stayed in touch with Norton this whole time. So I don't know. I still don't think I can be happy about Glenn Powell. But anyway, sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Go back to your thing.
No, it's fine. I did that on purpose because I wanted to hear you rant on Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
So yeah, great young actors, great performances. It's super funny. If you enjoy those kind of like, slice of life type of films, American Graffiti, Dazed and Confused. What else? I mean, I want to say Grease because Grease is more of a musical, but it's got a great soundtrack. I honestly don't know what it is that made me change my mind about it. Because like I said, I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe my expectations were really high because Dazed and Confused, in my opinion, is so great. And then when I watched this the first time, I was just kind of like, really? Like, I don't think it's like that at all. But
I also think that your taste changed a little bit. I'm finding that while I hold on to all the things I used to like, often from a nostalgic perspective, and we'll definitely put them back in and enjoy them, there's probably only 45% of those things from my past that truly hold up, like that really hold up, that are genuinely awesome, and that even as an adult, I don't need nostalgia goggles on to enjoy. Whereas there are movies that I swore to my death that I would never be into or want to watch or enjoy or you know, whatever, that I find utterly enjoyable and charming now and watch them from a completely different perspective. So I don't know, dude. I think we're at that middle age where stuff starts to shift a little bit. You know what I mean? Up here.
Do you have a particular movie that you have never seen that you will never see because you haven't seen it for, like, at this point you haven't seen it, so you're just like, no, I'm not gonna.
Well, I have one that I know I will never, ever, 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 never, ever, ever watch.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
And that is the Evil Dead remake and any of the subsequent Evil Dead sequels.
Oh, okay.
I'll never, ever watch that. If there's one that I was like, I don't do that. If there's one that I think I might like, but it's been so long.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, well, I'm just never going to get round to it. I actually try and force myself to get round to it. Now, normally with those movies, let's say there's something, and I can't off the top of my head. I'm sorry, dude. I can't think of an example.
That's okay.
But let's say there's a movie where I'm like, you know what? I should probably sit down and watch that.
Yeah.
And I put it in, and in the first 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is why I never watched this movie. I probably won't watch the whole thing.
Sure.
But there are movies
You'll try it at least.
Sorry, I'll try it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to shout out Gary Hill in the chat on Facebook, he says, I'm always, he popped in about 9:53. He said, I'm always late for these. Good evening, handsome bearded gents. And he
Thanks for watching, Gary.
He said that he prefers the Stoned Age versus Dazed and Confused, but he said that's just one man's opinion. I don't know what the Stoned Age is. Do you, sir?
So the Stoned Age. Okay, interesting. Let's talk about the Stoned Age for a second. So I recently watched it for the first time, sometime over the last year, because I had some friends in high school that like really loved it, and one of them even used like clips from it in a video production class project, and I was like, "What is that? What movie is that from?" And they're like, "Oh, you never seen the Stoned Age?" And so I never watched it, but I finally watched it. Yes, one man's opinion. I think of it as a poor man's Dazed and Confused.
Right. When did it come out?
But it's very silly. It was fun. I enjoyed watching it. I did like it. I don't think it has anybody of any of actually.
When did it come out?
I recognized one actor from it. One of the main stoner actors. I recognized him from the terrible movie directed by a terrible man. That movie Powder with
oh yeah,
Sean Patrick Flannery is in that movie. So I recognized him.
The guy who made Jeepers Creepers.
Yes, yeah. But I don't think there's any other like recognizable actors in it, to be honest with you. But it is on Toomey. I think it's on Toomey right now.
I do not recognize it. I've got it up on my phone here. I do not recognize it. It's not one that I'm like, oh, I saw that in the video store and never watched it. However, what's funny is the quote along the top of the poster literally says, "Better than Dazed and Confused."
Yep.
By Kim Williamson from Venice Magazine. Well, I've never heard of Venice Magazine or Kim Williamson. I
wouldn't say that it's better than Dazed and Confused, but
Gary then says, I think National Lampoon's Senior Trip is better than all of them, to be fair.
Wow. Okay.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
Yep. I'm trying to see it. Like, I don't even, on the Wikipedia page, I don't even see that it had I don't even think it had a theatrical release. I think it was a straight to video movie, or straight to DVD or whatever. But yeah, I don't recognize any of the actors' names. I don't recognize
That's for you,
the
Gary.
director. Who's the director? James Melkonian. He directed the Stoned Age and the Jerky Boys movie. So
Nice.
there's that. And he was one of the writers, along with Rich Wilkes, who wrote Airheads. And you know what? It actually does have that kind of vibe a little bit. He also wrote Triple X. He did
Vin
write.
Diesel movie?
He wrote Glory Days, that Ben Affleck college movie.
Oh yeah.
Bulletproof 2. I didn't even know they did a Bulletproof 2.
So yeah, I'm just holding up National Lampoon Senior Trip because I have that on
Nice.
VHS.
Perfect.
That's for Gary. And we've got Carl Pauling is watching. Gary is watching. Matt is still watching. We got a few viewers tonight. It's exciting. It's good stuff.
I love it.
Well, anyway, let's not take it away. Everyone wants some. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you have anything that you picked up that you want to talk about real fast?
I do, real fast. So I'm glad Gary Hill is in the chat because this week, Gary Hill and I, we've been doing this Michael Pare series back and forth between the After Movie Diner and his podcast, the Cinema Beef Show. So, Why did I say it that way? The Cinema
Beef Show.
Cinema Beef Show. The Cinema Beef Show. And he that is over on the Butcher Shop Legion of Podcasts. So on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, you need to look up Butcher Shop. But it's the Cinema Beef program within that series of programs. And we cover Michael Pare films every once in a while. And the one that we covered this last week was called The Dangerous. And it was him and Robert Davi. And it's a completely whacked out ninjas versus mobsters versus cops versus motorbike warrior movies. And I absolutely adored it. I'm a big fan of the Pare. Every Pare movie we watched so far, I've adored. This one was particularly adorable as well. So went on eBay, found it dirt cheap. Not only found it dirt cheap, but it is brand new in the sense that it is still sealed.
Whoa.
And it is The Dangerous. It has this salacious cover.
Wow.
This scene in it where he is groping this woman is literally like 10 seconds in the film. But they've put it on the front cover to try and make it look like it's an erotic thriller, but it's not. It's a ninja versus mobsters versus motorbike warrior versus cop movie.
Wow.
If that makes any sense at all. As Gary says, the cover does it no justice.
No justice.
And also Gary Hill is saying, I've just spoiled the fact that I love the movie, and I shouldn't have said that because everyone needs to tune into the podcast. But please tune into the podcast. Cinema Beef Podcast, part of the Butcher Shop Legion of Podcasts. I guest on there every so often covering a Michael Pare movie. I also put up those guest spots on my website, aftermoviediner.com, so you can always find them there as well. And that was one I picked up, Michael Pare in The Dangerous with Robert Davi. It's a strong recommend for me, and I want you all to go listen to the podcast when Gary puts it up.
Excellent. My pickup is actually a blue. It's the VHS show, and I'm sitting here, talking about Blu-rays, but we do we are champions of all physical media. Yes, it is the VHS show, so our main focus is our VHS tapes, our VHS collections, but week to week or week to week, whatever you want to say, we'll talk about some Blu-rays and stuff like that. And so the most recent thing that I got that actually came today, because I didn't realize that I didn't have it, and it was only $11 on Amazon, say what you will, was the most recent VHS film in the VHS series, the VHS Beyond movie. which I do not know if you've seen it or not, but
I haven't seen any of the VHS films.
oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I love them. I think they're great. I think it was the first one especially was a real great kind of take on the, found footage genre, and I feel like they're all pretty like any anthology movie. You get 2 or 3 good ones, and then you get maybe 2 or 3 stinkers.
Yeah.
This one in particular is more of a sci-fi horror themed installment.
Yep.
And I really liked it. I really liked it when I watched it, and so now I have them all, and I'm very excited to have it
Because
and
what, there's
watch
like
it again.
4 or 5 now, right? Didn't they do like VHS
Uh,
1984 or?
there's VHS, VHS 2, VHS Viral, and then there's VHS. I think there's like 84, 99, 85, and now Beyond, I think.
Wow, so 7.
Yeah, and they're working on another one. They're working on
So I
another one.
got to catch up is
They're
what I
cheap to
got to
make,
do.
I think. They're pretty cheap to make, so.
Yeah, I got to catch up. Gary just shouted out the wonderful Man and Ape classic Phenomena starring Donald P.
Nice.
Donald Pleasance.
There we
And
go.
on my second album, Pleasancing 2, you can find a song called Phenomena, all about the man and his monkey. So go track that down if you want.
Track it down. All right, brother. It is that time of the evening where we showcase our VHS pick of the week. What do you have for our viewers this week?
All right.
Johnny
Well,
boy.
this week. So when I grew up, the first thing I was a big fan of, the thing that I first geeked out over was comedy. I was, from about the age of 4, an insane comedy nerd. And it started as a lot of young British boys started with the Monty Python gang.
Mhm.
And basically, I did what I did with when I first got into the Beatles, which was like, this is great, but I want to know what came before and I want to know what came after.
Sure.
And so I did a ton of research. I bought a ton of books. It was around their 20th anniversary, and their 20th anniversary was in 1989. So by that point, I was like 9, 10 years old. And I just started to go around bookshops, go around movie shops, whatever it was, and try and find out as many things that the Python guys did beforehand and as many things as they did afterwards, as well as then finding out about Peter Cook and Dudley Moore and then some of the American stuff like Phil Silvers and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, a movie that combines so much comedy geekdom is a movie that often gets, I'm not going to say unfairly maligned, because no, it's not as funny as you would expect. But there was a movie made that tried to combine as best it could Monty Python, Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, Cheech and Chong, and Mel Brooks. And they tried to put it all together. And the movie was the pirate film Yellowbeard.
Yellowbeard.
I have it on the VHS, as you can tell right here. It is it stars Graham Chapman, who any Python fan will know played Brian in Life of Brian and Arthur in Holy Grail, and who the Pythons always claimed made a great leading straight man. Not that Brian is necessarily without its jokes, or Arthur is without his jokes. There's certainly bits in it where Graham Chapman is funny, but they always had him as a leading straight man. One of the things that I think might slightly derail this to some extent when it comes to comedies, although I love it, because the more madcap, weird, surreal, naughty, insane, the happier I am. And it's sort of if It's a Mad World was sort of your parents, like parents age groups sort of romp and and
Yeah.
and and hugely casted film with like hundreds and hundreds of people in it and whatever, that they enjoyed. This should have been, I think, the kind of 80s counterculture, or late 70s, early 80s counterculture version of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, which means not every joke is going to hit. And yes, it is going to age terribly. And yes, there are going to be some ridiculous scenes in it where you're like, well, how the hell did that ever pass muster or whatever? But it's just such an interesting experiment. A lot of the pirate stuff on the ships and everything was filmed for real on big ships out in the ocean, which again, not great for comedy. Like, this was the other thing. It's like when you hear John Cleese talk about the way they made Holy Grail, he was like, it's all very well, but like kneeling down in mud with rain being poured on you, wearing woolen chainmail and trying to be funny, it's like it's very difficult, right? And like, this was the thing with Yellowbeard, is like they're running around on pirate ships and stuff like this. However, Graham Chapman had got sober at this point, had started mountain climbing, and was very physically fit and does a lot of the running and climbing and jumping and diving and all the stuff in the movie as well. I think it is destined for like I think it's destined for like a reemergence and a cult classic status and whatever, because if you don't like Python humor, Mel Brooks, you've got oh my God, Madeline Kahn is in there from the Mel Brooks group, and you've got Marty Feldman in there from the Mel Brooks group. If you're not a Mel Brooks fan, you've got Cheech and Chong being particularly weird as two conquistadors from Spain or whatever. You've got pirate ships. You've got John Cleese playing Blind Pew. You've got sort of outrageous, sort of bawdy, naughty British end of the pier humor mixed with surreal Python humor. Sting, not Sting. David Bowie has a cameo in the movie.
Same thing.
Sorry,
I said same thing.
Yeah. So anyway, listen. I like to tell people to watch it because I like to see people go, "Wait, what the hell was that?" Because it definitely. Listen, it's not Holy Grail. It's not Life of Brian. But if you like historically based comedies with huge casts, and if you didn't like that joke, another joke will come along in a minute that you might like. You could do a lot worse than Yellowbeard. I'm going to keep pushing it as long as I can have breath in my body.
Excellent. So my pick of the week, my VHS pick of the week, is a movie that came out in 1993. I don't know. I don't think it did that great, to be honest with you. No, it didn't. It had a budget of $21 million. It only made $12 million in theaters. I don't know if I can really put a finger on why that is. It has a good cast. The story's pretty interesting. It has a great kind of groundbreaking soundtrack. This is a film that was directed by a guy named Stephen Hopkins, who also directed The Ghost in the Darkness. He directed Blown Away, not the Corey Feldman, Nicole Eggert Blown Away, which is the one that I prefer. But the
Tommy Lee Jones, Jeff Bridges Blown Away.
Yes, that one. He did Predator 2. He also did Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Well, I love Predator 2.
This movie kicks ass. It is Emilio Estevez. It is Cuba Gooding Jr. It's Jeremy Piven. It's Stephen Dorff. It has Dennis Leary, who is badly miscast as the main villain. It is the 90s action classic Judgment Night. And I say groundbreaking soundtrack because it was one of the first collection of songs where they took a popular rock or grunge band of the time and paired them up with a popular hip hop act of the time and did a song, and the whole soundtrack is full of them. essentially the main plot is this group of friends. They've been friends forever. Emilio Estevez, of course, plays the guy who's married. He's got a kid, and his wife doesn't want him to go out with his buddies anymore. He needs to grow up. Steven Dorff is his brother, and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Jeremy Piven are his other buddies. And basically, they rent like a big party bus to drive to the city to go see the Mike Tyson fight. They encounter a bunch of traffic and like classic white suburban assholes. They decide they want to take a shortcut through the city, and they end up witnessing a murder, basically. Dennis Leary and his gang of thugs. Basically, it's a cat and mouse game for the rest of the movie. These guys are trying to get away. Dennis Leary's trying to kill him because he can't, don't want to leave any witnesses or anything like that. But it has some real funny, probably not intentionally funny moments. Maybe intentionally, I don't know. Some of the I guess action set pieces, they're not really very actiony, but they're kind of put you on the edge of your seat. Kind of what the hell's going to happen next? There's the final fight takes place in like a like a grocery store, I think. I don't know. But I just really like the vibe of this movie. The way that it was shot, it's a really dark. It's really like the scenery and everything is very, very dark and things like that. It has like a kind of a grimy city feel to it. Yeah, man. I really like this movie and love it on the VH. I also have it on Blu-ray. I have the soundtrack on cassette and on vinyl. So, and I think I have it on CD too. So yeah, I'm a big Judgment Night fan. That is my VHS pick of the week.
And no one will judge you for that, sir.
Damn right.
Except maybe Judge Reinhold, but who knows?
He is
Matt Perea in the chat says that he loves the Haim Blown Away. So he's in agreement.
Vibes, man. Vibes.
Z Junebug has said that you guys will have to watch Yellowbeard.
Oh yeah.
She loves Holy Grail and Mel Brooks.
Yep, she does. Yep.
And then Bruce Campbell memes. Hey, what up, Bruce Campbell memes? How are you doing? Thanks for joining. They agree, and I say they because I don't know who is behind Bruce Campbell memes.
Sure.
But they say that it says it's a definitely amazing soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
So Judgment Night getting a lot of love here, as well as the Haim Blown Away in the chat. And Gary Hill said, I recently showed my love to Emilio himself for Judgment Night. So yeah, Gary was able to be at the Chicago meet and greet.
Nice. Awesome.
With the Breakfast Club crew.
Cool.
Where I think I'm right in saying, and I hate to like crush dreams of fanboys everywhere, but apparently everyone was lovely except Molly Ringwald, who really did.
Well, she's the only one that's had steady work since then, so I guess it would kind of make sense.
I don't know, man. Emilio's gone into like directing movies. Let's not shit on Men at Work with his brother. Which is possibly my favorite Emilio Estevez. I mean, I love Breakfast Club and San Elmo's Fire, but Men at Work, man, that is a classic. And then, of course, he followed that up with him and Charlie thought, well, we had such a thing going with Men at Work, we should make another movie together. And they made a movie called Rated X, which was sort of, I want to say it's a pre-Boogie Nights. I think it came out just before Boogie Nights, but it's a pre-Boogie Nights look at two brothers running a pornographic film studio in the 70s.
Yep. It looks like it was like a Showtime movie or something like that.
Yeah. And it all I remember, and I saw it many years ago, although I, of course, now own it on VHS so that I can watch it again.
Hell yeah.
Because I don't think it ever got a DVD or a Blu-ray, at least if it did, I haven't seen it. But I own it on VHS and intend to watch it again. But my memory of watching it back when I was at university So going back like 25, 26, however many years ago now.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, was that both of them by halfway through the film, because they're aging their characters, like their characters have to age because it's filmed over like a long period of time.
Yeah.
They both wear the most ridiculous like skullet bald caps. So they have like the bald round here and then like hair around the sides.
Oh
But
my
it
God.
was, they clearly didn't have, you know, like a Greg Nicotero
Yeah.
level makeup effects artist. So it just looks like a joke shop, like bald cap.
Not
And
even
it's
glued
like
on.
Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez trying to pretend they're middle aged. It's hilarious, and I need to watch it again just for the bald caps.
Excellent. What else we got in here in the comments?
We've got Bruce Campbell memes saying that Young Guns 3 is being filmed this year, apparently.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
so
I did hear
Emilio
that.
Estevez
I
announced.
love those two movies, by the way. Young Guns 1 and 2 are great.
Young Guns 1 and 2 are excellent. Gotta give the props there for those two movies. We're getting a Young Guns 3.
Yep.
There is also a script out there, apparently, for St. Elmo's Fire 2.
Wow.
And a Mighty Ducks 8 or whatever it would be. I don't know how many Mighty Ducks movies.
I did watch the Mighty Ducks Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Gary is saying that we're not talking about Loaded Weapon 1 enough.
Oh yeah. What about that movie? Oh no, I was gonna say, didn't he do a movie with Rosie O'Donnell? Was that Stakeout?
He did Stakeout with Richard Dreyfuss and Madeline Stowe.
What did he
and
do?
Then I
Did he
think
do something with Rosie O'Donnell?
I think Stakeout 2 has Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, now I need to know.
I think Stakeout 2 has Rosie O'Donnell, and I think Emilio and Richard Dreyfuss did come back, but Madeline Stowe thought better of it.
So they got Rosie to
but no, Emilio Estevez is gung-ho to make as many sequels to his 80s movies as possible. I guess he's seen what money Harrison Ford's made in the last decade and thinks, I want some of that action.
Gotta legacy sequels. It's all about legacy sequels.
Dude,
I would come back for another Stakeout.
I would go for a Men at Work 2. I would go for a Loaded Weapon 2. If they're going to do Lethal Weapon 5, dude, they could do a Loaded Weapon 2. Samuel L. Jackson and Emilio Estevez, I think, look healthier than Danny Glover and Mel Gibson do. So,
oh, man.
Bruce Campbell memes is shouting out Free Jack 2. We could get Mick Jagger back.
Free Jack.
And Anthony Hopkins.
Classic. All right, man. Well, my Pabst Blue Ribbon is just about empty, so
all right, my friend.
I think that just about does it here for us.
Well, I have to say a big shout out to everyone who joined us. We had people.
Yeah, heck yeah, good.
Yeah,
appreciate the activity in the chat and the comments and everything like that. I'm already looking forward to the next one. So make sure you come back every other Thursday. So the next one, I don't know. I don't have my calendar up, but the next one.
It is going to be May 8th. The next one will be May 8th.
Episode 3 of the new and improved VHS show here on IG Live, Twitch, and the After Movie Diner Facebook. Scotty Toombs of the Analog Basement. Make sure you follow me if you are a lover of analog technology, vintage technology, physical media collection, all that jazz, vintage holiday decorations, you know, things of that nature. And then, of course, my good friend Jon Cross. We met on the internet over our mutual love of the movie The Burbs. Someday we will put, and he's got his t-shirt on, folks. He's got his Burbs t-shirt on. Someday maybe The Burbs will be a pick of the week.
I do have it on the VH, my friend. It's one of those that I've owned on every format I've ever collected.
Yep. You can also find Jon at the Be Kind Movie Vault down in New Milford, Connecticut.
That's correct.
The Hunt.
At the Hunt, lower level of the Hunt.
Yep.
Milford,
and PM Entertainment Podcast, the After Movie Diner, thank you, my friend. I know you have your hands in a lot of things. Appreciate you taking the time to do this show with me.
I love it, dude.
Listen, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for episode 3, Revenge of the VHS. I know, it was terrible.
So it's the 3rd episode, and it's on May 8th. If that makes any sense. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to do. May 8th. 3rd episode, May 8th. There we go.
I can't even do that. I don't think my arms turn around far enough.
They used to when I was younger, but not anymore.
Shit, yeah.
All right, we'll do what the kids do and just do this business.
Oh, yeah.
All right, dude. Take it easy.
Sayonara.
All right, we are out of here. Boom.